Good afternoon, folks. In this video, I want to look over the Scheifele hit on Jake Evans. Just my thoughts about it. Coming up. Okay, there's a few things I came up with here. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget because these things bother me, guys. I mean, we as Sabre fans, who can ever forget the Schaefer hit on Tim Connolly, right? In the playoffs in 2006, and how that basically wrecked his career. It really did. And when you know somebody has a bad noodle, you don't go after their head. You just don't. You don't go near their head. You don't hit them in a position where it could damage their head. You just don't do it. It should be, one of those things. So the Scheifele hit on Jake Evans. I wanted to talk about, though, player safety. Now, this is what I listed as 5 improvements to player safety the NHL needs to consider that I just came up with. But I've been saying them for years, so it was pretty easy for me to come up with it. Some of them, my number one reason is I've been saying it for years in lounges and everything because I believe it. So the number 5 thing I believe that the NHL needs to stop doing is, well, I shouldn't say there's a pattern of it, but there is, because Shanahan wasn't exactly Mr. Clean when he played. You don't put former goons in charge. Now, I'm not saying Shanahan was a goon. He was a dirty player. But Parros, we all know, was a goon. And, there's a goon community. Okay, there is. And they protect each other. And this is why the whole Wilson thing fiasco with the Rangers there not long ago, and the joke of a $5,000 fine. I mean, guys, did you ever see anything so stupid? What does that tell the rest of the NHL when you do that? You see what happened last night. So you don't put former goons in charge. You just don't. You put somebody with a brain, half a brain. Number 4, repeat offenders. Now this is what I would like to see implemented. Second suspension, automatically 10 games. Third suspension, 20. If it's your 4th time being suspended, you're out for the year. I'd like to see them come down, crack down like that. I would. And I'm going to talk about all this at the end, why this won't happen, I believe, any of this stuff. Number 3, which drove me crazy for years, and it still does, are the hits from behind, the dangerous ones, folks. The ones where you seen that hit that time on that Richards did on Connolly in that last playoff series we're in. Remember? Where he hit him from behind. I believe it was from behind. That's what my brain remembers, but that's actually a light example. I've seen way worse where guys' heads go into the board and their heads crunch into the boards and they could be crippled after. I mean, what is the league waiting for? Really, what are you waiting for, NHL? You want to take out fighting, but you don't want to take out like those kind of hits. It doesn't make any sense. Well, Gary Bettman obviously hasn't played anything more than foosball in his entire life, so he doesn't know. But those kind of hits are dangerous because the guy is not prepared. He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, and somebody comes and cross-checks you right into the board, and you go head first, and we're going to have a death, folks. We will have a death. We will. I believe that automatically 20 games and a big fine. A big fine, not one of these stupid little $5,000 fines. No, a big fine. Like 50% of their salary that year or something. It's huge. Enough already, But if it's 20 games, half their salary, okay. But 25% of their salary plus 20 games. Like, honestly, the hits from behind, I can't stress enough how they scare me, really. Now, number 2, the hit to the head on a player with concussion history, 20 games and a large fine again. If a player the players know who has concussion history, guys. Come on. They know. You think Scheifele doesn't know that Evans has a history? I don't know what Scheifele was thinking, because Scheifele, I've never seen him as a dirty player. This guy has a reputation in the NHL for not swearing. He actually does. That's the truth. Mark Scheifele has a reputation for not even swearing in the NHL. Imagine. And he did that. I was like, so out of character, really it was. I never thought, it was the one guy, I was shocked it was him. When I seen it was Shifley, I was like, oh my God, like, you know. But they have to make an example of him, which I don't believe they really will. I'm waiting to hear what happens. So yeah, hit to the heads, especially on players that have had previous concussions issues. They got to crack down on. They got to crack down on them, or else. And if they're not, I'm going to explain. I'm going to get to the end of this in a sec. Number one, this is what I've always lobbied for years, folks. It's something I wish the league would implement, okay? Because it would solve everything, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of it, anyway. The player who does the dirty hit, and let's say Timmy, we remember when Timmy got hit by Schaefer, okay? He was out the whole next season. Remember, he played the last game of the year so he could qualify to get in for the playoffs and everything, remember? Now, if Timmy, if Schaefer would have, which of course he didn't even pay a price because back then the league was boneheaded and stupid. I can't tell you how mad I was at the Ottawa fans saying, well, if Tim wasn't like, you know, paying attention to like his moves on the ice, they said something stupid. I'm like, do you realize that this guy has head issues and he could have got killed there? You know, people don't get it. Sometimes they don't. So the player who does a dirty hit, they should be out as long, I believe, as the injured player. So let's say you take somebody out for the year with a dirty hit, you're out for the year. None of this stupid 3-4 game suspension crap. It's the dumbest thing. It's contradictory. It really is. It's like somebody getting off for murder in court, but somebody that has multiple traffic violations has to go do jail time now. You know what I mean? It's just as dumb. It really is. You know? And I believe the problem with all of this, okay? And I got no proof of it, but I think a lot of you are going to agree. The NHL, okay? They won't say this because it could be multiple lawsuits, and we know there could be all sorts of craziness. Okay? But I believe that they know that if they let Shifley back after a few games, that game where he comes back, they know they're going to get tons of ratings. They know. They know that a showdown, places like Arizona are going to tune in to watch that Montreal-Winnipeg game. Think about it, folks. Places like that will tune in. All these places that they want to promote the game more and more and get more and more attention from are going to watch this game because the fans love these kind of showdowns. They do. Tell me that you folks aren't going to watch the game when Shifley's back, in all honesty. You know what I mean? We know there's going to be payback. We know there's going to be, I won't say a bench brawl because those days are gone, but there's definitely going to be payback from Montreal on Shifley if he gets like 2 games or something stupid, which I think he's going to. I've got to see what happens with this before I can judge it completely, right? But I believe that the NHL knows that this is actually something that they can market, okay? The anger of this. And this is why this crap happens too. Just saying. You know, now, is that wrong to say? I don't think so. I've seen it too many times where Bettman just lets things slide because he doesn't want his star players out. And people tune in for drama. They tune in for it. It sells. And this is the problem we're up against, the political side too. You know, and will they ever get to being that serious about these kind of suspensions? I doubt it. Not until somebody's killed, or somebody's crippled, and they have no choice. You know, the NHL are still abusing their power in certain ways they shouldn't. And till that happens, till there's a forefront of this, I believe they're just going to do these lame-ass suspensions, have a bonehead like Parros in charge of player safety. You know, how dumb is that, guys? You know, think about it. How dumb is that? You got a goon in charge of player safety. Like, who comes up with these things? I mean, what, the Pearls put on a nice shirt and tie and go talk to Bettman to apply for the job? I don't get it. I just don't get I don't get this leak sometimes. That's as dysfunctional as Kim Pagula being our president. It is. It is. And, you know, people might disagree with that. I honestly believe that, like, come on. You know, like, league, wake up. We don't need a death on our hands. We don't. Because we neglected the safety of players that, okay, aren't big ticket players, but they have head issues. You know? It's wrong. It just is. It's really wrong. So on that note, I'm going to stop there. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in, what I thought about yesterday. I was pretty disgusted with it, you know. And this is why we need the enforcer, okay? You tell me, folks, and especially Sabres fans, if Rob Ray was on the Habs yesterday and he was on the ice, do you think Scheifele would have took a liberty like that on Jake Evans? Think about it. On that note, I'll see you folks later. Have a great day.